and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Angie and I'm a chemist who loves makeup. So today we are going to be talking about the Toxic Free Cosmetics Act, which just got put into law in California. We're going to be talking about the impact that this could have on your cosmetics, as well as my thoughts on it. If that sounds interesting to you, don't forget to subscribe. I don't say that a lot. If you're interested in makeup, skincare, and science, feel free to click the subscribe button because that is what we talk about on this channel. So let's go into what this law actually is. So this law, which goes fully into effect on January 1st, 2025, prevents the sale or manufacture within California of cosmetics that contain a list of ingredients. There are 12 ingredients. The last one is a category of ingredients technically, but let me just read them for you. So it's going to be dibutylphthalate, diethylhexylphthalate, formaldehyde, paraformaldehyde, methylene glycol, quaternium-15, mercury, isobutylparaben, isopropylparaben, M-phenylendiamine and its salts, O-phenylendiamine and its salts, per and polyfluoroalkyl substances in their salts, and there is 13 of those in that category total. So within California, you cannot have cosmetics that either have these or sell these. So what impact would this have on the rest of the US? Because California is such a large amount of people and a large market, laws like this that have an effect would likely be seen to be reflected throughout the entirety of the US. Places like New York, California, those areas are big enough where laws that are established there can impact throughout the US. Something like in Kansas, maybe the products just don't get sold in Kansas. That also being said, the same applies usually worldwide. And as noted, these list of ingredients, which are not allowed to intentionally be put into your cosmetics, are also already banned in the EU. So if you have products that are being sold in the EU as well as here, they're already going to adhere to not containing these. And so because of these not being allowed in the EU, a lot of these ingredients are actually not included in most products. I used a database that the Environmental Working Group puts together. You can search for an ingredient and see what products it's in. Environmental Working Group is one of the major backers of this law, as well as the Personal Care Product Council. And using their database, many of these ingredients are not intentionally being added to products. They are not found on the ingredients list of many products. The only ingredient on here that has any sort of showing up in the market is quaternium-15, which is a antimicrobial agent, and it is found in, I want to say, like 20-ish products, and most of those are rinse-off products. So any negative effects that they could potentially have, I think the concern is that it's a formaldehyde releaser. But in any case, that's the only one I can find. Some of these, mercury is not intentional being added in your products. Formaldehyde, there was one that it listed. For the most part, it's not found in your cosmetic products. The parabens that they cite in here are not being used in products widely. None of these ingredients are being widely used in the US from what I can find, according to their database. By banning these ingredients, it's more performative in my opinion because these aren't being widely used anyway. So to take the resources to find the time to lobby for this seems kind of pointless, and I think efforts for safer cosmetics might be better towards other things that would have a bigger impact on products. As I mentioned, the EWG, the Environmental Working Group, backed this. They were a major proponent of this. They cite wanting safer cosmetics frequently, and if you Google any sort of ingredient in your cosmetics, they're usually the first result that pops up. But myself, as well as many other scientists, don't really find them to be a reliable source of talking about safety in terms of ingredients. They have a very black and white view of ingredients. They're either bad or good. They use a number scale without taking into account what it's being used for. What are your exposure limits? What levels are actually being used in cosmetics? All these things need to be factored in order to determine how toxic an ingredient is. And with this numbering system they have, the more data you have, if it shows anything negative, you get ranked really high as a bad ingredient. If you have no data, no, good or bad, you're still ranked as good. So their system doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. I don't even believe it was until recently they actually hired a toxicologist, and a toxicologist seems very important for the work they're trying to do. Also, this law, like I said, it just bans intentionally added ingredients. It does not take into account degradants or what ingredients can break down into over time, what different compounds they can break down into, and it also doesn't count contaminants. So this only applies to intentionally added ingredients. And to me, contamination is a bigger problem than just banning specific ingredients. I think it's important to look for the contamination. Think asbestos and talc. Talc on its own isn't an issue, but the asbestos is a problem. A lot of natural ingredients that have to be mined can have high amounts of lead, but the ingredient isn't a problem, but the amount of lead is a problem. And I think that seems to be a better aspect to focus on, and I think it'd be more important to test for that kind of contamination instead of just banning ingredients altogether. So overall, I don't see this law having a major effect on the cosmetic market in the United States. All these ingredients are already banned in the EU. Most of these ingredients are not being intentionally added into products anyway, and it kind of just seems very performative and not very helpful for the consumer. I think a lot of times when people are trying to pass laws for safer cosmetics or in regards to cosmetics, they leave out scientists in the conversation who could give a lot more insight to this. And I wish that they would start including scientists in these conversations and speaking to them about what they believe could make cosmetics safer. So if you learned something today, don't forget to click the like button and make sure you subscribe so you can learn more about the science of your makeup and skincare. And with that, I will see you in my next video.